All right, good morning. Can you guys see my screen and hear me? Can you guys see my screen and hear me? There we go. Thank you, John. Thank you, Will. Appreciate you. Just wanted to make sure. It's my first live stream, so a little nervous about all the technicals. There's a little more to it than I thought, and um, yeah, I'm not the most technical guy in the world, so wanted to make sure we were all set up right and working. Good morning. Welcome to the live stream. Um, First thing we're going to do is go through just the overall counts. I started this early. I usually do a update in my room in the mornings, but I'm doing that live here for everyone. So we're going to go through the counts and how I see the markets right now. And from there, we'll get into the indicator and go through that. And then we'll get ready to trade here as the market opens. So off of our all-time high, the ES all-time high. So we're in the futures here. I do count this as an ABC down in all counts. So regardless of whether you think the top is in, this is still an ABC down. I'm still skeptical on the top being in. However, the bears are putting a lot of pressure on it. This wave 2 low over here, as we drag the screen over a little, they approached it overnight. So this wave 2 low right here, it's at about 55.47, and the low was right in that area. If they break that low, it does take out the circle 4 as a possibility. So we'd be in a bigger wave 4 in that case. I'll zoom out and show you what I mean by that. But as of right now, they're still holding that low. They've bounced off of it. That support area should be fairly strong. And as long as they can hold that low, this circle 4 applies. And we'd be looking for a rally back up. Now, if they do break down below that, we'll zoom out a little bit so we can see just a little better here. It is still possible that this wave 3 here moves to here. And this circle wave 3 goes away, obviously, because it's a different count. And then this bigger wave 4 down here. So in other words, you'd have 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, and 5. That would be the alternate bullish count, should that happen and they break this wave 2 low right here. If they break the wave 2 low, the diagonal is no longer a possibility. And in those cases, this would count differently as well. This needs to move here, like this. So it would break the diagonal. So that just, all that does is invalidate the most immediate bullish move. So in essence, we would be counting this wave 3 as done, this wave 4 in, and it can come as deep as the April lows all the way down to 5,100. But if they break the April lows, that's when I get on board as the top is in and we are in a much bigger decline. I've gone over that many times in my room, but that bigger decline would take shape as an ABC. So as I said, even off this high, even if the top is in, if that's where we're at, this would be an ABC and then likely a B and a C into the April lows. And then that would be an A of a bigger A. And then you'd have a B and then a breakdown. And that breakdown would likely take us to 3,500 pretty quick. And that would just be the A wave of the decline. So overall, I do still think there's a decent potential for another high. However, the bears are starting to put a lot of pressure on the bulls. Crossing this wave 2 is a warning, but not an overall indication that the character of the market has changed. That's a big understanding. The uptrend is still intact overall on the bigger picture. We do still have a lot of key levels below us that can hold and give the bulls structure to take this back higher. So, yes, there's been a lot of selling in the last couple of days. or a week or so. But that's indicative of a C wave. This is exactly what you would expect. So no real super shocking things. They are a little deeper than we would have expected here, but overall, nothing shocking on the ES. On the NASDAQ, same situation. You have this wave 2 right here. Basically, everything I said, just duplicate it and just apply it to the NASDAQ. So they have to hold this wave 2 to keep the most immediate bullish count alive. They have done that so far. If they break down through that, the April lows become very important, especially on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is much closer to its April lows than the ES. Tech generally leads, so we would be very cautious of that area. But if they do break this wave 2 low, then the April lows become a major hyper-focused area that the market needs to pay attention to, because if they break down through that, then it's very likely you have a top that is in, and you're looking at a much bigger decline. So again, in any case, I'd still count this as an ABC. Can they go directly down here? They can. I don't necessarily think they will. I think it's more likely you get like a B, C into this area, then one more bounce and then down. So NASDAQ, same setup. Still a very decent potential to come back to the highs this year. However, a break of this wave 2 is a warning, and a break of the April and August lows is a major indication that the top is in. Now, if they do break this wave 2 low right here, this major 3 moves up to the peak, and this major 4 moves over until or unless they break the April lows. So that's kind of where we're at on that setup right now. But you have a wave 5 top on NASDAQ 100, 23.6. Yeah, I still expect until they break down, there's still a very decent chance of coming higher. That's the bullish count. People get very over emotional about selling, and that's what the market's designed to do. It's designed to tell you that it's game over. We're never going higher. The same thing happened back here. Everybody told me that we were done back here in August. Everybody told me we were done in April. Everybody told me we were done at COVID. And that's just how selling works and how liquidation works. Once you get to a certain part of the market, there's nobody buying up here and there's nobody selling. And the reason is the buying wears out because you're too high. People just don't see the value. And the sellers have been bought so many times that they don't want to sell. So the institutions come in, they sell it. Everybody panics and jumps in. They liquidate everybody's position, then the institutions buy it back up. That's the overall cycle of the market in a nutshell and how it works. These are all selling is liquidating positions to create liquidity for the move back up. Because now what you have is a whole bunch of people insisting that the market is going lower, and they might be right. I'm not saying they're wrong. But that's what the market wants. They want everybody to think this is the case. So everybody has bought puts. When you get that scenario, the institutions come in and buy calls. All those puts get liquidated. That adds buying to the market. Then they flip long. That adds buying to the market. And then FOMO kicks in. That adds buying to the market. And we're back at the highs. So until we break key support, the bulls overall are in control. In the short term, the bears are absolutely in control. But in the bigger picture, the bulls are still in control of the market. And if you're looking at data to push the market in any direction, just know that's a catalyst. It's not an event that matters. If you look at NVIDIA's last earnings, they were one of their best ever, and they're down like 12% since then. So the news is something that is used as a tool to deceive investors. Just be careful with that. Okay, so that's our two updates on the market. Nothing has really changed in the big picture. Again, as long as we're above the April lows, the bulls are still in control. Let's jump over to the indicator. We got because I want to go through a lot of different things for people who, one, have the indicator and two, don't, so that they can kind of understand how all of this works. So I think if I did it right, you should be able to see that right now I'm running a March Madness special. I coming up with different things every day for March Madness. We have a couple of them actually. You can buy the yearly indicator and get Trade Waves Academy 50% off. That's my course that's not Elliott Wave related. It's about price action and options and psychology and trade setups and all kinds of different things that are really important. Finding key levels. It's a really in-depth course. I taught it live. People really loved it. Right now you can get that 50% off if you buy the yearly indicator, or if you just want to try the indicator, I am giving 50% off of your first month so that you can try it out at half price, and then it goes to normal price. After that, there's a coupon code. It's March50, and hopefully you can see that on the screen. All right, so the indicator. Invest with Jacob Pivot Point Pro is what it's called. If I turn it off and on, you can see the buys and sells and stuff. Your setup of the indicator, which is only available in TradingView, by the way, because they protect the code that I used to write it. Your ticker is always going to be 1 on ES and 2 on NQ if you're trading the SPY. Okay? That's a very big caveat. If you're trading the SPY, this is your setup. And the reason for this is if the SPY, so what's happening is it's tracking the ES and it's tracking the NQ. At the same time, it's tracking the SPY. And so what it's looking at is synchronicity between all three markets. It wants all three markets to have the same optimal setup, which increases the likelihood of a profitable trade. So if the SPY is moving up and the NQ is moving down, you will not get a trade because they're out of sync, and very often that leads to extremely choppy markets. So we're looking for synchronicity, so that's what it's checking. Now, can this be used for day trading? Can it be used for swing trading? Can it be used on other stocks? Absolutely. So if we were going to trade another stock here instead of the SPY, you would have your chart on NVIDIA. We'll just use NVIDIA as an example. You'd click down here on ticker 1, change this to NVIDIA. You'd click on ticker 2, change this to NVIDIA. And then you would have your setup on the chart for NVIDIA. And some people like the daily for swing trading, or even the hourly. I use the weekly. I think it's much more accurate. It gives you much bigger moves, and it is a much stronger overall signal. So you get a lot less of them, but they're also a lot more powerful. So I personally use the weekly for swing trading. The daily or hourly is fine if you want to use that. Just understand, the bigger the time frame, the bigger the move in general for the setup. So if you're looking at a hourly swing trade, you might be looking at 20, 30, 40 points. So you're looking at a daily, you might be looking at 40, 50, 60. And if you're looking at a weekly, you might be looking at 100 plus, just depending on, one, the size of the stock and things like that. But that's for like the ES or the SPY. So that's your setup. Under style, the crossover alert and cross under alert, these are squeezes. They're still under testing. We haven't got them to where we want them yet, but they will indicate short and long squeezes as they're occurring so that you understand that. But we're not there yet. So right now we keep them unchecked. They are not a valuable tool at this moment. They just cause clutter on the chart. They aren't going to hurt anything if you have them on. It's just extra stuff you don't need. And then you have your buy and your sell, your long stop and your short stop on the chart. And you can see them here. You got your red sell, green buy, you got a long stop here. So all of those come up on the chart, tell you when to get in and out. Now, I don't personally use the stops that the indicator gives out. So if you watch a video and you say, hey, there was a stop there, that's why I was out, why weren't you out? It's because I know I put these in for traders who aren't as comfortable with stops and don't know. These are a little more cautious and keep you safe. I use my own stops. So when you see me in a trade and a stop comes up and I don't get out, it's because I have a different stop, and I'll announce my stops today as we get them. But those are for if you're not comfortable when and where to stop. Those are for those types of folks. Waka Waka said open interest put calls 2.78 to 1, suggesting that the number of put option contracts significantly surpasses that of the call option contracts. That is correct. That's exactly what you want to see here. That is the type of ratio that causes squeezes. So the bigger that discrepancy, the more likely you're going to see a bull squeeze to the upside. And that is a huge indication that the market is too one-sided and the market makers will squeeze. So that is a highly cautious stat for the bears. So we in the pre-market here, we're coming down to what's called put support for the 0 DTEs. That's today's options. This is where the highest level of contract is. Below this is bearish. Above it is bullish. Your call resistance all the way up here at 573, indicating a huge potential move today in both directions. Your high volume level is 569.98. These levels I get from a site called MentorQ, MENTHORQ. They're tools you can use in, on your chart if you want to. 0 DTE options levels are hugely important for identifying trend days and things like that. So a few more basic things just for people who haven't used the indicator or don't know what we're doing. The blue here, that's post-market. So after the market closed yesterday, it trades in blue until after midnight, and then it turns yellow for pre-market trading. We don't trade anything over here. This is all usually chop, low volume stuff that doesn't play out all that well, and for the most part. But we need it on for the indicator to work properly. Also, because it looks at futures data, it looks at the ES and the NQ, you do need real-time data, and that is a different subscription than just a standard subscription. I think it's an additional $7 a month to make sure you have real-time data on the ES and the NQ. And the easiest way to see if you have that or not is when you look at your chart over here. If you look at this area and you look at the ES, if you don't have real-time data, there'll be a little D with a circle on it right here on the ES or the NQ that tells you it's delayed. So that will cause your indications, your buy and sell alerts, to be delayed or not to appear until later because the SPY is on real-time data, and then you're 10 minutes delayed. So 10 minutes later, this buy or sell shows up, and people are like, oh, well, yeah, of course you can put it up 10 minutes later. Well, it's because you don't have real-time data. You need real-time data for it to work properly. So let's talk about a couple scenarios when you're trading. Number one, you need a trading plan, but I have rules. One of those rules is 3 strikes and you're out. So when you get a trend day like we had yesterday, let's go back to yesterday. Actually, yesterday wasn't a bad day overall. This trade here was a winner. This trade here, I live streamed it. You can go check it out. That was actually a winner. You can see the buy was right here on the chart, but if you go back and watch the video, you'll see how that played out as a winner. And then this trade right here was actually a loser. So not a bad day yesterday. What I do want to talk about is trend day. So when you have an 80-point gap down like we did yesterday, right, huge gap down, you're not going to get a sell signal unless you get a buy cycle to complete. So they gap down, they get a miniature buy here, nothing that would cause any panic in the market. It doesn't, at least the bear side of the market, it doesn't flip the scenario. So what you get instead of a sell signal is you get a long stop, and then they continue, and then they try to buy the market again, and you're just going to get a series of that because it's in a trend. So because you're already 80 points down, the indicator is not going to chase the market, and what it looks for is exhaustion and reversals. The whole point of the indicator is to look for reversals, which is how we get so many tops and bottoms absolutely nailed. So on trend days, and what constitutes a trend day? Well, first an 80-point gap down, but let's just say this was basically flat at the open, right? We weren't 80 points down, we're basically flat here. So the blue line I have on my screen is an exponential moving average. It's the 21, and the black line is VWAP, and that's going to be your trend day indicator. So as we open the day, if we were flat, imagine we're flat here, okay? They start down, they come back up, they spike through that level, right? They instantly get back below it, they back test it, and then they come down off of it. That is the start of a potential trend day. The second thing you want to see is below the pre-market low or high, depending on which way we're going, but in this case, it would have been the pre-market low, right? They continue down, and then on every back test of the 21 in VWAP, they need to fail and continue down. So we came back up into VWAP, failed. Came back up into this area, failed. So that constitutes, and then they did it again right here, failed off the 21. That's how trend days work. You use the 21 to identify it. And once you start to see this, you know to start kind of ignoring buy signals because you're in a trend day. It's not going to reverse. Now, trend days are less common. About 9 out of 10 days have reversals in them. Trend days are much harder to trade for day traders because there's no real signal. So what the indicator is looking for is it's looking for exhaustion and weakness in the move, in the prevailing move. So in this case, down. Once it sees that, it's going to issue a buy signal. That buy signal doesn't mean we are in a buying market. It means the selling is exhausted, and we should more often than not see at least a bounce that we can make money on, which we did here. Okay. If it doesn't complete a full buy cycle, it's not going to give you a sell signal to the downside because there's not been enough buying to exhaust out to tell you that selling is going to resume at a strong level. Can it? Of course, we see it right here. But more often than not, you're not going to see that continuation. You're going to see some kind of pullback and then either a new buy signal initiated or a continuation. So people wonder why we don't get sell signals on days like this, and it's because we're already 80 points down. The sell was initiated long before we got into this area, and now it's looking for selling exhaustion because we're so deep into the sell cycle. So that's the first thing. You want to look for trend days as you're trading, and those will help you out quite a bit. And then the second thing is if you do look for reversals, so you take this long, let's say this long was a loser, you come down here, this long ended up being a loser. Let's just say that's the case. It wasn't. They were both winners, by the way. And then you did this one and it's a loser, then I'm out for the day. I'm not trying to trade 100 more attempts back when the market has told me stop. So you're going to miss trades. That's part of it. You're going to lose trades. That's part of it. But having a sound trading plan is much more important than anything else you can do. It controls your emotion, it keeps you in check, and it keeps your losses small. I do not trade after 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, because the market tends to get choppy and slow. It's the midday lunch volume. It's not very fun. And so that's something to keep in mind. And then we always take our first profit at 20%. So we take half of our trade off at 20% and then let the other half run. If we get stopped out, we generally make 10% on that trade. And what happens with that is those little 10% winners that don't seem like a lot, you get those. So let's just call these winners, right? You're going to have losers in your life too. Losers are always capped. You always take the full trade off. So these winners and these losers cancel out. And then anytime you get a runner, it's basically all profit. So that's why we take the 20% win up front, take a small win, and then let the rest run. And that's how we beat the market on a consistent basis. Because, yeah, of course we have losing trades. We may have them today. I can't guarantee you anything's going to be a winner. No one can. That if you could, you'd all be billionaires. But what I can tell you is we win way more than we lose. And on top of that, we use good strategy to allow it to maximize. So those are all the things you need to know when trading the indicator. The last thing is prepare yourself. So right now, we are in a sell cycle and we are moving down. So I am expecting a buy signal to be my first trade. That doesn't mean it's going to be right away or I'm expecting a buy right away. It means when it finds wherever it's going and we get that reversal, I'm not going to get a sell signal. So I want to be prepared for a buy. I want to have my strike set up. I want to have my trade set up because very often reversals happen like this. And they move very quickly. And if you're not ready and you're typing in, oh, what strike do I want? By the time you get in, you're 50 cents behind the move and you're too far away. So right now, I will be setting up a buy. so that all I have to do is click one time and I have a trade going, as opposed to waiting and trying to understand, oh, am I going to do this or that? You are in a sell cycle, you're looking for a buy. Now, if there was, for instance, a long stop right here, so you got a long stop and a buy going up, then I'd be looking for a sell, and I got one, and it sold down since then. So prepare yourself for the open, because the open moves fast. The open's usually pretty volatile. And in volatile markets, I usually set my stop a little wider. So my standard stop is 50%, or 50, not 50%, 50 cents, excuse me. So if we are at we're at 559.68. If I entered right here, my stop would be around 559.20, well, 559.15, because that's about 50 cents lower than price right now. But in a volatile market, I may go down 60 or 70 cents, because you get a lot bigger moves a lot faster, and you need to kind of give yourself a little bit of leeway there. So just some things to understand as we get ready for the open here in about 2 minutes. All right, let me see if I can go through questions. I see a buy signal on the 4-hour chart on NQ. Thoughts? 4-hour charts are pretty solid. You know, they're in between that 1 hour and daily that I talked about earlier. You can use whatever level you want. I just choose to use the weekly because I think it's more dependable, and I like those longer style moves. But you can absolutely do the you can absolutely use the 4-hour. The issue is we are in negative gamma. Wouldn't that amplify the move? We are in negative gamma. There's no question about that. But negative gamma stops at some point, right? Didn't positive gamma stop at some point? And it stops when we hit extremes. And right now the put-call ratio is at an extreme. The selling is at an extreme. Exhaustion is at an extreme. There's a lot of reasons for this market to bounce. A lot. And I'm not saying it has to bounce all the way back to the top, but there's a lot of reasons for it to bounce, back to 5,800, 5,900, 6,000. Okay, let me get set up here. So I know where I'm at. Today is the 11th. All right. Let me get my room set up so that So right now I'm looking for a buy, and my strike that I have set on my screen is 560. And that will move down as price moves down, but I have it set up just in case we get a buy right at the open. I think there's a fairly solid chance they could touch this gap and bounce right here. The SPY gap. And I'm using 0 DTE, so I am using a strike for today that expires today. All right, there's the open. Let's see if the bulls can step in, or if we're going to get, okay, there's our buy. We got to get in now. 327 is the cost. My stop is going to be 559. So at 327, that's 65 cents basically to get us to 20%. So that's 892. So I'm looking to close the first part of this trade at 392 or get stopped out, one or the other. Very often here I'm looking for a back test of the 21 or VWAP that should coincide with about where our price is. So if we're not quite to 20%, but we're in this zone, I may take some off here instead, just because that's a common failure point for the market. If we're going to trend down, especially. That put support level should be a little bit of resistance. It was not. Blew right through that. Overall, it should be a little bit of resistance, though. Yeah, there it comes back down through. We got about 8 points up to close the gap on ES, so we'll see what we get here. So we take the buy as soon as it comes on the chart, because very often these bars can be very strong, and if you wait until it closes the bar, you can miss a good portion of the move. Okay, so there's our stop. We stopped out there, $3.04 on that stop. We should get another buy issued, so we'll be ready for that. Same strike as of right now. Coming down to close this gap right here, the pre-market to post-market gap. And then we need to see what the ES pre-market low is as well. Oh, the ES pre-market low is pretty low. It's down around 55.50, I believe. 55.58, all right. Right now, market internals are actually pretty decent. You have positive ADD, you have positive VOLD on most charts. So would not be shocked to see at least a test of the high up here at 563. Okay, there was our buy signal, 337. We're going to get at 559 at 337. And our stop is going to be 558. So we're looking to close this first half at $4. Looking for a back test of VWAP in the 21 here. Back at that 0 DTE support. So that's going to be resistance right now. If they can get through it. Okay, there's our first close at $4. That's a winner. We're going to move our stops to 337. So now we move away from our stop being a SPY price to an option price. So the option price is 337. We are moving our stops with that option. We're going to now move our stops to 350. First time into VWAP and 21. We should get a little rejection here unless it's really strong. If it's really strong, they're going to plow through. There's the rejection. Now, just how big is the rejection? Is it going to be, we just back tested and then we continue down because we're going to trend down, or is it we're pulling back to get more energy to get back through? So we'll see what they do here. We already have a guaranteed winner. We had a loser to start here on the first bar. No big deal. That happens. And now this winner, and this is what I talked about earlier, these small winners, should this be a small winner, that cancels out that first loser. And then if we get another buy or sell, we wait for the run out, and that's when we get our money. So the small winners and losers are cancel out. That's perfectly normal. That's what we want the winners to do. And then we want the runners to make lots of money. All right, coming back into those zones. See if we can plow through here. If they can close at VWAP in the 21, that's ideal. That tells you that they're putting pressure on that level. Doesn't mean they won't reject it, but that means they're putting pressure on that level and are looking to try to push through it and grind through it. Guys, this is my first live, I'm trading, so it's really hard for me to do questions. So if I'm not answering your question, I'm really sorry. The GEX levels come from a site called Mentor HQ. Sam, I'm sorry, I got to trade for my group. I trade the way I trade, and you'll just have to adjust your trading style and your stops to that. Let's see, we're at 425, so I want to move my stop up to 450. Oh, no, I'm at 350. I'm good. Okay, sorry. I'm at 350. Okay, let's move to 360 on our stops. So I just trail stops. As price moves up, my stop moves up. So we're at 360 now because we can still get rejection off of here. This level's really strong. So we want to capture as much of the gain as we can. So in a different scenario, because of where this level was, so let's say we entered the trade down here, and we took our first take here. As we came up to this level here, I would take more off. This would be a place I would take profit. So I'd take another half of what I have left off here because this is a very likely failure spot. If they're going to fail, this is the most likely place they're going to do it in the short term. And then the next level will be the weekly average and then the pre-market high after that. So we were too close to this level to take additional profit off, in my opinion. So I'm just going to give them a chance to grind through. But they are rejecting as of right now. Okay, and there's our stop. We got stopped out at 360 for an average exit of 380. So on that trade, we made 60 cents on the first trade. I'm sorry, 50 cents, 43 cents. Oh my gosh, math. Um, and on the first one, we lost 43, 6 cents, or excuse me. Oh my gosh. I can't do math today. 23 cents. So that win wiped out the whole first loser and more. And this is the whole point of the small wins and small losses, is that they cancel out so that the bigger wins are all profit, like I said. So one winner, one loser so far. Let's see if we can get another one. How they're going to deep trace us. So these are sometimes frustrating things if you get stopped on a deep trace, if it happens, and then they go and run it long. Can be very frustrating, but it's part of trading. No big deal. More aggressive traders, you can set your stops wherever you need to. And less aggressive traders, obviously, you can adjust your stops as well. Now, as a side note, we are long from yesterday off the lows. So we have a swing long. So if they do rally and take this up, we are covered there. We do have a small hedge to the downside. So if they do lose the low, it can cascade, and that will pay for the first trade. Remember, guys, if you want the indicator, I'm giving 50% off the first month right now. You can see the screen code on the screen, March 25. I'm sorry, March 50 is the code for that. If you want the yearly indicator, again, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee, but you get Trade Waves Academy, where I talk about all this price action stuff that we've been seeing right here. I talk about that in depth in all those modules. You get 50% off of that if you get the yearly indicator. So once you buy the yearly, I'll give you a coupon code. You'd get the Trade Waves Academy half off. So those two promotions are running right now. Again, 50% off your first month, as you can see on the screen there. And then if you get a yearly indicator, then you can get 50% off of Trade Waves Academy. If you are signing up for the indicator right now, please bear with me. I'm obviously live streaming. As soon as I'm done with this, I will get you access to the charts. So they're back at the scene of the crime here, still at the resistance that we've talked about. They've got to get through that to start the next ball higher. And then this whole area right here is a huge resistance wall. This 562 area, 562.57. So we're talking SPY numbers right now. And then if they can get through the pre-market high, they have a chance to really start to run. Secondary put support is going to be right here, but our high volume level is all the way up at 570. So there is a 11-point overhead to the high volume level, as well as 14-point overhead to the call resistance wall. So that is a huge range for them to be able to trade in. So if they do break out today, those are the levels to the upside you'd look at. To the downside, obviously, we're below, or we're at the 0 DTE support. This will be a big level for them to hold. If they can stay above this, it starts to turn short-term bullish. And then, of course, the pre-market low on the ES was down at 55, 58 or so. So that would be a huge level for the bears to get to and through. Right now, they are chopping just under the resistance zone here. To the non-subscribers, to my rooms or the indicator, are you finding this helpful? Is this something that was worth it for you to see? I realize we haven't gotten any major moves yet, but at least you can see how the indicator works, how it pops up, how we use it, how I trade it successfully, those types of things. So if I ride 1 to 2 week waves, can I use the indicator for the hourly, daily? Yeah, I talked about that earlier in the live stream. So I prefer the weekly for swing trades, but the daily is also very good as well. Slow start. Somebody said there's Jolt's data. I believe that's at 10 a.m. So they might be waiting for that to move the market. If I'm just looking at this from a outsider price action perspective, this is a bit of a bullish setup. If they push back, especially if they push back over this high at 560.99, but these two long leg moves here, this could have been a little hanging man, but the way they're trading this bar next to it is starting to look bullish. And there it goes. Okay, so they pushed through 0 TTE support. So this is why it's bullish, okay? If you're confused at why I thought that was bullish. So they opened, rejected VWAP and 0 DTE support. I cannot say that today. Came back down, made a new low, came right back to VWAP, tried to get back below 0 DTE with a hanging man look here, failed it, came back below it, came all the way back up here, which is a bullish signal that they want to hold this level and break this level. Now the next major level is going to be 562.57. So if you had aggressive stops here, you probably did okay. You know, I was fairly aggressive. I was 70 cents on a $4 stop, which is, or a $4 price, which is, 20-something% stop or whatever, but, or 18% stop, whatever it is. I mean, it's a fairly a wide stop. But if you were more aggressive and just said, hey, I'm going to keep it at the low, that's fine. I just don't turn winners into losers ever. That's bad trading. You don't want to do that. And does it cause me to sometimes maybe miss this move right here? Sure. But it also saves me from having 25 winning trades, and instead of having 25 winning trades, having like 12 winners and 13 losers because I let half of them go bad. Just joining, can you share what the other indicators are seeing? I'm not sure what you mean by other indicators. I only use mine because the other indicators are crap, if you ask me. They're all... So here's something to understand. So most indicators and most things that you use or that people use are all backward looking. They're all waiting for something to happen. They're all looking for a moving average to cross, or they're all doing something where... For a moving average to cross, okay, you got two moving averages. And for this moving average to cross back up, the market has to move up, right? Well, if the buy signal was down here on my indicator, because it's price action, not backward looking, and your buy signal's way up here when they cross, and then they do this, whose entry is better? Right? We are price action. What that means is we are looking at key levels to hold and reverse off of. So we built the indicator to say where's support, and then there's 150 things that look, actually a little more than that, but there's over 150 things it looks at, and it has to have a certain criteria. And once it's at a key support or resistance level with a certain criteria, it issues a buy or sell. So we're trading off of support and resistance. We're not trading off of let's see what happens, let's see this, let's wait for this, and then the buy signal comes in up here and you're too late. Right? Our buy signal was at the absolute low. It was a little early on the first bar, but it knew there was weakness here, got in on the second bar, and it gave you a winning trade. That's what the design is. And moreover, should this winning trade break out, then you're in at the absolute bottom. If it doesn't break out, okay. But if your entry was here when, let's say you had to wait for VWAP to cross back positive here before you got your long entry. Well, that's going to take another 3, 4, 5 bars up. You're in too late. You're all the way back up here at the pre-market high, another rejection point. So we get in off of support as opposed to off of resistance, or I'm sorry, excuse me, not off of off of a random cross or a random thing happening. Real quick here, guys, because we're going to need, actually, let me see something real quick. Let me see if we're in a sell cycle yet. I can see that on the back end because I have the data. No, we have not completed this buy cycle. So while we're waiting for either the buy cycle to complete or a pullback that will reset the buy cycle, let me pull up, if I have it. Yeah. So if you do want to get the indicator, guys, you go over to my website, Invest with Jacob. You go to membership plans, click right there. Right now, 50% off with the code March50. So if you click that, you come down here to where it says Trading View Indicators. You click Get the Indicator. And then you scroll down, and at the bottom here, toward the bottom, right above the payment, there's a Have a Coupon. Click that. Put in March 50. So March 50. Hit enter. So when you hit enter, you're going to see a little bar right here. And that bar, and it says coupon applied. And then scroll back up to the top. So now you get 31 days for $29.50, and then it's $59 a month with coupon March 50. And then at the bottom, this tricks a lot of people. So you select your payment style, card or PayPal. You select your payment style, and then on the next page, when you hit sign up, that's where you put in your credit card. Okay, you're not going to put it in on this screen. A lot of people get tricked and think you're supposed to put it in this box or something. You are not. You click that, you hit sign up, and it'll take you to the payment screen. Okay, so that's how you sign up. And that's what we're looking at there. So pushing back down through, so they failed. We got to push up, fail, back down. They came into this lower resistance right here and failed it. Again, in 6 minutes, we have some data, I believe. Let me look at the economic calendar. So they may be chopping in this zone until we see that, and then we'll see what we get from. Today is what, Tuesday? All day. Yeah, jobs openings at 10. So in 5 minutes, you're going to get some data that will likely move the market. So we'll look for that. Okay, so we're getting a long stop here. That means the buy cycle has failed and we've turned over. Okay, but it just disappeared, so it'll come back down here if they move down. So what that means is, should that long stop have stayed, like over here you see the LSs, that means we can get a new buy signal. However, until that long stop prints, you're not going to get a new buy cycle. But looking at the NQ is looking decent as well. They actually, did they get to their high or through their high? So NQ, really nice buy signal here as well. So they did poke through the pre-market high. This can turn into a failed breakout and collapse. However, if they're able to hold the 21 here, the NQ is looking fairly bullish. They are over the call resistance and the put support. So you have kind of an inverted options flow here, which tells you that the calls have moved down to set a level, and that level is what they pushed through here and squeezed instantly. So now, as long as they can, I'm going to say hold this low at 19,481, this can continue to push. But if they start to break down, this is going to be a failed breakout and then a breakdown back to at least 19,385, if not lower. But we'll see what the jobs data says, or does. I don't care what it says. If you care what the jobs data says, or you think it matters what it says, I can give you 1,000 reasons why it doesn't. It's just going to be something that pushes the market in one direction or the other. One quick one I can give you is go look at NVIDIA's earnings this last quarter. They were blow it out of the water. Their forward guidance was blow it out of the water. They absolutely crushed. They were 75% growth, and they are down 12%. No one cares about the data. It's just a market mover. That's all. It's just a catalyst. Data and news is meant to trick you as an investor and make you emotional. So the ES is looking weaker than the NQ. It's almost back to its pre-market low, whereas the NQ is holding up well. However, if NQ is going to break out, ES will definitely go with it. Sorry, guys, I get fidgety with my screens. I move them around a lot, so I hope that doesn't annoy you too much. See the QQQ is more aggressive today. How does the work with NQ? I just showed that. We had a very nice buy signal on the NQ. Looks at 150 things. Wow. Is the price action that your indicator looks at taught in your course? It is. It is. And you can buy that whole course, or you can just buy the price action module if you just want to learn about that. It's on my website. So while we have a minute here, let me pull that back up if I still have it. I think I deleted it, but I can bring it back up. Oh, no, right here. Okay. So if you scroll down a little further, you'll see our courses. So the Trade Waves course, again, you can get this half off if you buy the yearly indicator. So the yearly indicator is $5.90. You get 2 months for free. But if you just want to get the price action course, you get the advanced Elliott Wave course for free, you get the beginner's course for free, and you get a month of the indicator for free. So that's another way you can do it. If you don't want to get the yearly indicator, you can get this and get a month of the indicator for free, as well as these two courses. It's a great deal, guys. There's so much in these courses. And if you just want to buy a module, you can come down here and buy whichever one you want. This explains what's in all of them. There's 10 different ones that we go through. So market membership plans page, check that out if you want any of that stuff. All right, so we've got 27 seconds and we'll see what happens here. Based on the NQ and the internals, I'm going to say that the market action is going to be bullish, but I could be dead wrong. We don't have a trade signal. We don't have anything else. We'll see what they do here over the next 15. You have two stories here. ES is a little weaker while NQ is a little stronger. And since NQ poked over its high and has better price action right here, we'll see if they can push out. Test the low. Keep in mind, I have no idea what the JOLTS data was going to say or what it was going to be. I just looked at price action and said, I think this will be bullish. It certainly tested the low and looked bearish, but they're trying to get started here. That's because the data doesn't matter, by the way. It never will. Never will matter. As soon as people understand that, they become better traders. Unfortunately, today, that stinks because, you know, we're live streaming and I'd like to have some trades. Unfortunately, the NQ and ES were a little out of sync, and that's why you got chop. So the indicator protects you in that way. So here's where the NQ got out of sync right here, and here's what you got was a whole bunch of chop until the jobs data. So we don't have a trade here, and that's okay. It protected us from all this chop, from getting us a different trade or getting us back into a trade. It protected that and kept us out. but it didn't allow us to maybe catch this move. Should it go? Should it continue? So I guess what I'm trying to say is the indicator protects you from chop, but because when you're out of sync, you're not going to get trades. The ES was a little more bullish here, whereas the NQ was a little more bullish through here, where the ES was a little more bearish. And because of that, we didn't get any kind of trade resets. But if they can get back into sync, we'll get another trade. And that's what you want. You want them to be in sync, because if one's bullish and one's bearish, you're going to get this chop, which is what we're getting here too. They came all the way down to the low and went all the way back up to the high. So overall, just a choppy start to the day. We'll see if they can either find a low and give us a buy, or get high enough that we can get a sell. So with this push down through the pre-market low on the SPY, if we zoom out just a little here, this key level down here at 555.60 from yesterday's low will be important. If they don't hold that, then we're very likely on our way to test the ES overnight low, which was 55.58, something like that. So these are going to be some key areas to watch. Okay, day trade alerts. We may get a buy down here. If we don't get a buy, it's because of the NQ. The NQ is never got back fully. So the NQ completed a buy cycle. In other words, it could have had a sell, but because the ES didn't, you didn't get a sell either. You got a long stop, but NQ may block us from a buy here. It'll be close. We'll see. If we can hold down here for one more bar, that'd be better. Options prices are outrageous today. They've been outrageous for a while. High volatility is good for trading, but makes option prices so expensive. Yeah, so NQ is going to block us from a buy here, unfortunately. ES just switched into a buy, so if you're a gambler and you want to take a one-sided trade. NQ never got into sell, so it's an okay take, but you are seeing squeeze indications here come up. So we did get. So if we go over to ES, you should see a buy signal on ES here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, you're not going to see it because it's tethered to NQ. If I program this all to ES, you would see the buy signal, but because NQ doesn't have a buy signal, it still doesn't see it. So let's just do that real quick while we're waiting. So you can see that. Yeah. So there's your buy signal on ES. It converted to a buy down here before it rallied. So ES did get a buy signal, but because NQ never got fully into that sell, we did not get a buy signal overall. So we're not trading this. Don't take that as a trade. I'm just trying to show you how this works. This chop here just kind of messed up the start of the day. That's about oh we got the buy signal on the SPY. Son of a oh no we don't. No we don't. That's not accurate, guys. Sorry. That's not accurate. It's too early here. It's only 7. It's only 7. But understand that that's protection. If the NQ is already further along, then it will weaken faster and you'll get more chop. All of that is protection and makes for more accurate buy and sell signals. How do you get the put support line? So that is Mentor Q. It's a membership. You have to go to their website and buy a membership. I believe you can get like the first month for half off, like at 49, and then it's 99 a month after that. Really good data there, though. Did NQ get a sell signal earlier? No, it didn't. So NQ from the open, the first candle of the day was a buy, and then took off from there. It was a great buy entry, and then we pushed up, pulled back down here on the jobs data. So they spiked a new high on both charts for the day. I mean, for the regular trading hours of the day, and then they came back down to the low, and now they're trying to rally again. So internals are in very good shape right now. So the market's, I don't know, I'd call it basically flat. The NQ's green and the ES is red. So this is your out of sync right here. The NQ's green, ES is red, right? When you have that, then you're not getting synchronicity across the markets, which means no trade signals. You have to have synchronicity across the SPY, the NQ, and the ES in order to get more accurate trades. So unfortunately today, guys, we got a chop fest at the beginning that didn't allow them to get in sync. NQ was a little better, and then they never were able to reset in either direction, or they haven't been able to. We still got 3 hours. I still trade for another 2 hours and 50 minutes till 10 o'clock. I'll take any trades up till then. After that, I'm done trading because it's too choppy. Really, 9 o'clock is probably better, but I give the extra hour because I have a call at 10. If you're interested in my monthly rooms, we do a live call every day where you can ask questions. I go through all of the charts in red here. Not every day that I go through all of them, but the ones that are moving the most. So all the ones you see in red, the Mag 7, gold, all that kind of stuff. Bitcoin, we go through all of those. And any charts that you guys have and have questions about, I go through those as well and give you the key levels and the counts and whatever. So if you're interested in joining the monthly rooms, that's the type of stuff in there. You get all these trades as well. So lots of different ways to use our services. We have swing trades, day trades. PT trades individual stocks. He trades futures. He trades some advanced stuff that's really neat. I'll probably stay on till 7:30, and if I see that we're close to a trade, then I'll keep going. If we are not close to a trade at 7:30, right now we're not close to a trade, so I'm going to give them a few bars to try to reset here, and if they can, that'll be great. If not, we'll do this again next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday of next week as well. But so far a very small winning day on a day of not that much movement, to be honest with you. You had one spike bar that was really big both directions, and you're just not going to trade that nonsense. That rally, by the way, so they made a low back through. They went back to where? VWAP, rejected. So until they can get sustainably above these two lines, the bears are in control. If you haven't seen, if we go over, let's look at Friday real quick, or so we can see a better day. The last 2 days haven't been great. Yesterday was a trend day, and trend days just aren't great for trading. But Friday was a normal day where you have, well, certainly wasn't normal. Let's clarify that. But it was a day where you have back and forth trading. So the indicator was in on the first bar of the day there, and this was, I think, a 6-point rip, something like 5-point rip. And then you got this sell that actually never stopped out. So the second sell is just as good as the first sell. It doesn't matter. They held VWAP in the 21, took down from 73 to 68, so a 5-point rip down there before you likely got stopped out on that bounce. Then you got this buy signal here that you had 566 straight up to 573, so that was another 7 points straight up. I mean, just an absolute crusher day Friday. This is maybe the best we've ever had on the indicator. But that, I mean, those days maybe not to that extreme level because of the volatility we're seeing right now. But those kind of days where you have 3 big winners or 3 winners and no losers, those are common, very common. More often than not, you're going to see days where you have more winners than losers. And very often, one or more of those winners is going to be a runner. A lot of chop today, hard to trade. It is, Chris, which is why we only have one trade that was a winner so far. See, that's the thing. Most indicators, when you get chop, will start getting you in and out, in and out, in and out, and you just get chopped up. We don't do that here. It's designed to eliminate chop. And the reason, so the biggest reason you get chop is markets are out of sync. You have a green, right now you have a green NASDAQ and you have a red ES. And not just a red, like you're negative 0.4% here and you're positive here. So it's a big difference. And when you have that, you're going to get chop. You have one market going in one direction and they overlap in what's in them. So this is how the indicator protects you, by going with synchronicity and understanding that all 3 markets need to be moving in the same direction for the market to break out or to have a sustained move. And if they're not doing that, I'm not giving you trades. That's the whole important thing, is not necessarily getting the good trades, but not getting the bad trades. There could have been a lot of buys and sells through here that other indicators printed, and ours just said, we're not in that kind of market. We're not going to give you trades when the markets aren't ready to trade. Does the indicator tell you that a longer term bottom is in? No. It tells you, it'll give you buy signals off of a low. You know, um, like I said, I prefer the weekly. Let's look at the daily real quick. We're not going to get a trade right now, so I prefer the weekly. Keep that in mind. But the daily's not bad. I mean, if you come up on the daily here, let's see. So the last daily sell signal was right here. Closed the day at 597. And I don't know. You guys okay with 40 points straight down? Straight down's not exactly fair. There's a couple bounces, obviously, but you're in a 40-point move down in, 10 days or so. When was this? The 24th of February to the 11th of March. So 4 and 11, 2 weeks. You had this buy signal over here that was really strong. When the market chops, are you going to get a little bit of chop here? Yeah, you got a couple losing trades most likely. These two sells. This one probably was not a loser because you were in at 604 and they dropped it down to 598. So that's 6 points of downside. You should have taken some profit, I think, especially considering you spiked the daily 21. So I think that's a pretty decent signal. This buy signal was really strong. So you had a sell over here, and you got to give yourself some space here. Actually, you got a sell stop here. I'm not sure why we didn't get another. Oh, NQ was out of sync over here. Oh, my daughter is coming in to say good morning. Give me 1 second. Good morning, baby. I love you. How'd you sleep? So, like I said, I prefer the weekly. I think the weekly is a stronger signal, but the daily's fine. I mean, you're going to do well on the daily. I mean, this trade alone would have paid for 2 years of the indicator if you just had one contract. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to every level. I like the weekly, but you can use the daily. We need to see a little bit more weakness here to get a buy signal. The NQ still holding on. The ES wants to turn into a buy, but the NQ still holding on to a buy cycle, so that they're out of sync again. Or they're still, not again, they're still out of sync. So until they get back into sync, we're not going to see a trade. They are building a squeeze across here. Pretty sure that squeeze is going to be up based on the overall structure here. They're building a base, looking for a squeeze out of here. This is on the 5-minute level, so small squeeze. It could just squeeze back up to here. If the daily is on sale, do you orient yourself with taking trades with the understanding that rallies will be sold on the 5-minute chart? No. We take the trades as they come. Reversals happen from somewhere, right? Just because we're in a sell on the daily doesn't mean the very next day we can't be in a buy if the market rallies strongly. And you don't want to skip a buy that, because it's only given you a buy that it thinks is a high probability winner. And over and over. It proves itself on that. So when you take a buy like right here, okay, we got a small winner, and we took a I don't know 12% winner or something like that on that trade. But there are lots of days that it gets here and everybody's thinking red, and then all of a sudden we're up here and you have a 100% winner, a 200% winner, whatever, 80% winner. Because of how we trade, ours are normally 60 to 70% winners because we take half off early and then let the other half collect and move stops. But if you're aggressive and you want to hold, you can get really big winners. So it's all about just taking the trades and understanding that the indicator is built for price action. It's built for reversals. It's built to find these levels that, remember, the smaller the chart, the less the move. So on the 5-minute chart, it's looking for a high probability 8 to 10 point ES move that is in sync with the NASDAQ and SPY. And if you get 8 to 10 points on the ES, that's going to give you a 20% win on options almost every time. It's a little tougher now because of the volatility, but it's still playing out really well. And so we're looking for small wins and then with potential. So it's saying, hey, this is a very good spot to be a bottom. We think we'll see at least an 8 to 10 point bounce here. And if the bulls are ready to roll or the bears are ready to roll, then we can see them break through and keep on going. And that happens quite often. So the overall idea of the indicator is find high probability 10 point ES moves that can break out. More often than not, major support and major resistance are going to hold, especially the first time in. So trading those is what the indicator, that's one of the things the indicator looks for. And assuming other criteria is met, you get a buy or sell signal. And then from that major support or major resistance, well, it depends on what we see. From there, it can go, and major support on the 5-minute may be tiny support on the daily. Those are two different things. But major support on the 5-minute should produce a 10-point bounce. Okay, NQ is finally weak enough, so I'm going to stay here for a little bit longer to see if we can get a buy signal in the next few bars. If they can close this one with NQ in the red, which is what I'm looking for, which is a sell cycle. That's my back end thing. You guys can't see that, but then NQ will be in a sell as well, and then we'll be looking for a buy signal off of a move down here. We're almost to this week's low. This is their first time into it. They came in just short of it and bounced it pretty good here. So they may spike through this and then come back up. We'll see how they handle it. But remember, ES overnight did come down about 30 points from here, so we could definitely see a little bit of a meltdown. So I already have my call trade set up for when it happens, if it happens, assuming, we'd get one. My strike is 557 right now, but that could change just depending on if we move down or whatever. And I have it all set up to go, assuming we get a buy signal. This area is going to be heavy support. Remember, it's yesterday's low, so you can see right here. It says this week's low because yesterday was Monday, so it's yesterday's low. Um, so they're coming right into a pretty key level here. I would not be surprised to see a bounce and a buy signal. However, the only caveat to that is they did come down, test the area. They got close, but not too close, came back up, and now they're coming down a second time. So we'll see if this level is going to be strong the second time through, because they did kind of test it here. Are you putting in stops and sells right after you take the trade? 100%. So as soon as I get the trade in, I put in a 20% first take, so that, because a lot of times what you get, see this spike right here? So if we had a long here and our first take was right here, you would have never got it because it moved so fast. However, because I have it in as a scheduled sell when it hits that level, that spike would have sold my call for a profit, and then it would have come back down and I still would have got my profit. If you try to do this manually, you'll miss. So I always put in my 20% as I put in a one cancels other. So meaning if I hit the 20%, I cancel the stop at the bottom. If I hit the stop, it cancels the 20% at the top. All right, they're coming into that level. Let's see if they bounce it at all here. If they break right through, then we're probably going to test the ES low. Again, guys, if you did get the indicator based on the video today, bear with me. I will get you in as soon as I can. Obviously, I'm live streaming right now, so as soon as the stream is over, I'll make sure everybody has the permissions they need, assuming you filled out the forms for me. A little bit of a battle at that level. You're not really seeing the reject you want yet. There's still time, they can spike through it and reject, but typically you want to see a little stronger reaction. Why not use a template setup with your OCO? I'm not sure what you mean. All right, let's see what we get here. So we're getting the bounce off of the level. Question is it going to be is it going to meet the criteria for a buy signal? Right now it is not. If you use the indicator properly, you should be able to take emotion out of trading, and that's your number one goal. So emotion is the number one destroyer of bank accounts, and it's not close. If you think of It's the number one destroyer of lives. If you think of the decisions you've made because a girl or a guy broke up with you, or because something really bad happened in your life, somebody passed away, and you got too drunk and got in a car or something, you make so many bad decisions when you're emotional and rash and impulsive decisions. And in trading, it is absolutely um, a destroyer of your account because the market is completely designed to make you emotional. At the COVID low, I can't tell you how many people told me that we were going to 500, the market was done, blah, blah, blah. And at this low, I'm getting the same thing. The market's done. How could you even talk about a new high? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying the market is going to a new high. I'm saying I am open to that possibility because of the structure of the market. And because of that, I am rash and reasonable when the market changes direction. When you are staunch in your belief and you have a bias, which, by the way, this is all taught in the psychology module of TradeWaves Academy, you overplay yourself. You say, oh, here's the sell. I'm going to double down. Oh, it bounced. They're going to sell this bounce. I'm going to triple down. And then you just get blown up because, one, we hate being wrong. Just as general humans, we hate being wrong. And two, bias and emotion can start to take control, and you start to say things like, well, how can the market do this? It's rigged. It's this. It's that. Instead of saying, okay, let me zoom out and see where we're at. Let me see what the structure is. Let me see what the price action is. Let me see what's happening before I make a rash decision. And then I just wait. And if I can't see that, if I'm not, if I haven't studied long enough or I haven't traded long enough, you have this indicator that tells you when those things are right. And then you simply enter the trade, set your stops, set your first take, and wait. And if you stop out, you stop out. That's part of trading. Don't double down. Don't add. Don't get back in until you get a new buy signal. And that's all that it is. And if you do that with a trading tool or trading plan, if you don't have a tool, you have a plan that is solid, you will make money in the market. The problem is that's the hardest part, is just doing. All of the answers are given to you. You just have to write them down. There's a delay from real time to what I'm seeing on the screen. That could be. I don't know how live streaming works, if it delays or if potentially, I don't know. I would imagine there's some sort of delay between exactly what's on the screen and exactly what you're seeing on the chart. I'll have to look into that, John. That's an interesting thing to note. John said there is a template on Thinkorswim. I don't use Thinkorswim that often. I use it for a lot of charting things and a lot of technicals, but I don't use it for trading that often. I use it for some things. I do a lot of testing in Thinkorswim. I have that account is more for testing things out. But I'll have to look into that because I would, if that's the case, I may convert over to them. All right, guys, I'm going to give them a couple more bars here to see if we get a buy signal. If not, wasn't the best day for, unfortunately, live streaming because there wasn't much trading. I mean, this is not a great tradable setup. And the one, we got two trades right here and we won a little bit. So a green day is always a good day, but I don't want to sit here and bore everybody to death watching a bar go up and down while we wait for a trade signal, because most of the better trades happen the first hour or so of the day. So I'll wait a couple more bars. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a reversal. We got kind of a reversal candle here. I'd prefer it was at the low, but we do have a somewhat of a reversal candle there. The indicator did better in January than February. Does it work better in bullish months? So not necessarily. So there's a February it didn't do. January was a record month. First of all, we absolutely destroyed it in January. It was incredible. February was an incredible month. It just wasn't a record month. And the thing about it is, I was gone a lot in February because we had a death in the family and stuff. And I think 3 of those trading days in February were monsters. So February could have been a lot better in the official results, but I don't put anything I didn't trade personally in those results because it's not fair to just say, oh, well, this would have happened, and I don't know the exact numbers. So February would have been a much bigger month overall, but I had to take time out for a death in the family, and there were some good trading days missed in there. So our next 2 potentials here for a reversal is a spike and reversal, right? They spike the weekly low and then take it higher. Or they're going to go down to that 55, 58, about another 6, 8 points where ES made its low. If they hold that, that would be a place to look for a reversal because it's your overnight low in ES. So if we come over to the ES real quick. You'll see that they're coming into the pre-market low right now, which was 55.58. So this is going to be a key level for them to hold. If they spike through that, then we may see a trend day down again towards 5,500. Let's go back to our SPY chart. So there are lots of different strategies you can use while we're waiting for any kind of reversal here. And one of those strategies is one I don't personally use. However, it has proven to be pretty good. And it was because of how trend days work. If you see the makings of a trend day, so far we have the makings of a trend day. They're at the they got to break the pre-market low, and that would be a little bit more of a sign of a trend day. But breaking down below the 21, backtesting, and staying below it right now indicates a trend day. And on those days, I do have a trader that says when you trade trend days, instead of looking for buys, you look for stops of the long. So a downward trend day, you'd look for a long stop. On an upward trend day, you'd look for a short stop. And you get short on these signals here. This bar would have been hard to deal with on your stops, but ultimately it played out pretty well. So that is a strategy you can use. I don't personally use that strategy. I just say trend days are not great trading days. I'm not chasing moves, and that's just my style. And there's nothing wrong with either style as long as it has a solid trading plan. As long as you have a solid trading plan, there are a trillion ways to trade the market, and none of them are wrong. They're just different plans. The 50% off coupon is good just for this video, just for the people who join the live stream. So once this live stream is over, I'll leave it for, an hour or so after that. But then the coupon will be gone. So that is special just for the people who join this live stream because it is a live stream and I know it takes time out of your day to sit here and watch bars go up and down. So that benefit is for joining the live stream. That is a gift, if you will. And I can tell you that is the only time I've ever discounted the indicator, and probably one of the few that I will, because it's so powerful and so good. It doesn't need to be discounted. I don't need to try to push it. It pushes itself. So if you are interested, this is the best price you'll ever see on it to get started. I will never make it lower than 50% off unless you get TradeWaves Academy and you get a whole month for free. That's a little different. So if you are interested, I would suggest doing that. One thing I will note, just from watching the market for years and years and years and years, when they make a pre-market high and they don't get anywhere near that pre-market high, they will come back to this level. They set that level for a reason, and they will come back and visit this level. It doesn't have to be today or tomorrow, but this level is important, which is why they got there. So they will come back and test that level. Will live stream be all day? No, I'm actually about to cut it here soon. I'm going to give them. We are at the 7:45 bar, so 15 more minutes ain't that big a deal. We'll wait till 8 o'clock. We'll see if we can get anything between now and 8 o'clock for a trade. And if we do, we'll take it, and then I'll stay on until that trade ends. So if we get a trade at 7:55 and it continues into 8:20, we'll still be live streaming it. But until then, if we don't get anything between now and 8 o'clock, then I will probably end the live stream at 8. We are getting far away from the 21, and that usually means market needs to come back and touch it. So and we're at the pre-market low, so a bounce here seems very reasonable. So I would be looking for some kind of bounce off of this area, especially since the pre-market low is here, 21's far away. So hopefully we can get a bounce back into that level. The first level they got to get through, though, is this 557.13. Okay, I got a 556 strike set up right now. See if we can get a buy signal here. Okay, we got a little bit of a reversal set up here. My boy wants to say hi, so hold on one second. Hi, buddy. Good morning. I'm sorry. Bye, baby. I love you. Have a great day at school, okay? Bye, guys. Family first, guys. Sorry. Got to send the kids off to school. All right, here we go. My chart is delayed 3 minutes. So that's for you guys. My chart on my computer here is live, so I'll announce as soon as I see the buy signal, just so you guys know. So one thing the indicator does is it measures the strength of the move. I guess momentum, strength, volume, all that kind of stuff. And so stronger moves take longer to generate a buy signal on reversals because stronger moves tend to have a lot of dead cat bounces. Um, so when you so there are lots of times that we will catch exact highs and lows, and there are times that it takes a minute for the buy to materialize because it needs to hit a certain set of criteria to say that the momentum to the downside is weakening. And obviously, so far, it has not seen that yet. Site link should be in the video down below. Did I not put it in there? If I didn't, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. But it's investwithjacob.com. And then you go to membership plans. I thought I put it in the description. If I didn't, go to any of my videos and it's in there. Just while we wait, real quick, it's the membership plans area. You go down and it'll say Trading View Indicators here. Click here to get the indicator. Again, the yearly indicator. You can get the TradeWaves Academy 50% off. If you get that, I'll give you the coupon for it. Come down here for the coupon and put in March 50. Hit enter. It'll say applied successfully, and then go back up to the top. And it should say $29.50, then $59 a month after that. And then remember at the bottom, guys, pick whether you're going to pay credit card or PayPal, doesn't matter, and then hit sign up, and then you will put in your information after that. Okay? All right. Trying to form a bottom here on the pre-market low. I'd like to see a spike down in reversal. That would be ideal, but they're trying to hold the pre-market low from the ES. So from a general trading standpoint, while we're waiting here, one of two things is going to happen. When they get far away from the 21, okay, which is the blue line right here, they're either going to reverse back up and tag it or consolidate let 21 come back down to price, then drop it. So they're either going to consolidate sideways here or break out and go back and touch it. And then if they're bullish and they're going to try to rally some for the day, they will try to break through it. So earlier in the day, I warned that NQ poked above its high, and that when that happens, very often that's a failed breakout and will turn into a breakdown into the overnight lows at least. And that's what we saw here. So they got on the NQ, and even here they failed to break out. Then they reversed it and came all the way down to the lows from ES. Now it's the bears' chance to fail, and if they fail, we should see a squeeze back toward the highs and potentially even the pre-market high. But for that to be a failure, the bulls have to get back through 560. Okay, ES is wanting to turn buy here. We just need the NASDAQ on board, and we're going to go with it. There it is. Getting in at 301. Our stop is 554.70. Our strike is 556. So 554.70 is our stop. $301 was our price, so 20% is 361. That's where we're looking to take our first exit, so I'll just make it 360 to make it easy. We are counter trend here, so we do need to be a little cautious of that. If we're not at 360 by the time we reach this blue line, I will take whatever we have there because it should be pretty close. And this is going to be a high chance of rejection if we're going to continue in the downtrend. So we want to not get a losing trade if they get up here. This is about $1.40 above price, so we should be good. Shouldn't be a problem. Our delta should get us there. This is your first resistance wall here. It's this little wall that they set right here before they broke down. So this is a back test of the breakdown right now. Bulls need to step up right here. This is going to be an area of contention for sure. Small rejection's okay. We don't want to see a huge failure here. So standard price action stuff, right? They come down, they set a low, they test it, they break through it, now they back test it. And if they fail here, then continuation and trend day is very likely. If they don't, if they're able to hold this pullback at all, then we would see them hold, come back up, and break through. But the rejection here, very predictable. We'd like to see the bulls turn this into a hammer candle. So make a low and then come back up and start green. That would be a very bullish sign and a good look overall. Certainly not the ideal rejection. Still got plenty of support right here for him to hold. But you really wanted to see this stop around right here at about 556.15 or so and start to hammer. But we'll see if they're just doing a deep retrace. They did that up here as well, where they pulled back all the way and came back up. So we'll see if we're getting one of those or the bears are going to continue here. I do think as I look at price, moving fast here, trying to live stream and do stuff. I think I went on the wrong number on my stop, but that's okay. We've just got a very deep stop here. That's okay. There's the stop. Got 226 on my exit there. That was a moving fast. Looked at the wrong number. I just looked at my stop and where we were in price, and that was a little deeper than I normally do. So that was a mistake on my part. Doing too many things. This is a bad sign for the bulls, by the way. Bad sign for the bulls. If they break down through this low, we are likely looking at 550 next. Update. How do you set up your stop loss so quickly? That's because I use a SPY level. So when trading day trading the SPY, I use a SPY price, and then I manually stop, and then I have my stop set up so that I can get out really easy. We may be getting another buy here. I'll try one more bullet and see how it goes, and then we will call it after that, assuming we get this long. So my stops are generally about 50 cents below price on SPY. So right now SPY's at 555.40, so my stop would be 554.90. However, because we are in a high volatility market right now, I have expanded them a little bit to about 65 to 70 cents. And that's because you get such big swings. When they start a move, they retrace them quite often deeply, as they've done twice today now. And so you try to keep your stops wide enough to allow for that to happen without jeopardizing your overall P&L. I think on that one I went too deep. I think I was supposed to be maybe 555.70, and I did 554. I'm not 100% sure. I was moving quick, and I'm streaming, trading, commenting, and doing a lot of things. So I apologize for that. But I mean, 554.70 wasn't terrible. It was below the last support region, so it was just deep is all. So when LS first pops up, you don't sell right away. No. Well, no, I don't. I mentioned at the beginning of the video the stops I don't use at all. Those are for traders that are newer or don't know where to set their stops or don't know when to get out or those types of things. Um, I set my own stops, and a lot of times they're in conjunction with the stops here. That stop came in at I think right around here somewhere, which was 555.78, and I think I was supposed to be at 555.70. Once I looked back down at 554.70, I realized that was a pretty deep stop. So I think I just looked at the chart and did bad math real quick. Do you buy zero DTE only for day trading? Yes. And the delta varies, but I'm always one strike. I'm either at the money or one strike out of the money. So for instance, right now, um, I am at 556 because it's essentially one strike out of the money by the time we get price up there. It'll be over 555. But I'm either the options prices are pretty high right now, and by pretty high I mean triple. So I go one strike out of the money because you're getting good enough delta on that, and you're getting 30-40% or 40 cent discount. So you're not having to pay huge options prices. Well, you're still having to pay huge option price. You're not having to pay as huge of an option price, I guess I should say. So yeah, I mean, most days you can be at the money because options prices are $1.50, but today they're $3.50, $4. Spellweaver, you said you're not seeing the coupon code on the screen. Is that true? Are you guys seeing the 50% off first month of indicator with code March 50? Should be on the screen. If it's not, then that was a mistake on my part. All right, let's see if we get a buy signal here. This will be our last try of the day. Well, for the live stream anyway. If it's a failed long, though, we had a losing long up here. We had a winning long, but that canceled that one. But still, this was a losing long, so that's two losing longs. If I get one more losing long, that's my third strike of the day, so I'll probably sit on hands anyway. I don't overtrade days where things aren't working out. I just move on to the next day. Okay, somebody said they weren't seeing that on the screen, so I wanted to make sure they did, that you guys were. Do you use the VIX to confirm, and what time is best to use this setup? I don't use the VIX at all. There's a buy signal. Hold on, I'll get back to you. So we are going to get in here. I got it set up. 280. And our stop is going to be 550, 550. And we'll see if the bulls are able to go here. Okay, at 280 we need 56 cents, so that's going to be 336. We are there. Close out half for 336. We're going to set our stops to 290. See if we can get through the 21. If we get through here, they can really start to squeeze. They got to get through VWAP, and then that's 558.10. That should take them up to around 559.65. So that's a $1.50 squeeze we should see, but they got to get through VWAP and the 21. They got to get through two key levels here. Back to that question though, while we wait, keep an eye on the charts here. It was I use the 5 minute time frame. I don't use the VIX at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's factored into the indicator. It's one of the factors it looks at, but I don't personally need to verify it because the indicator does all that for me. That's the beauty of the indicator, guys. It's looking at everything that you would look at on 5 different charts all at the same time and giving it to you. So it's trying to eliminate you missing something. So I know that lots of times I see a long before the indicator, I would see a long and I'd say the market went long and I'd say, wow, I had some indication of a long, but not this. And then I'd go look at 3 other things and be like, oh, here it is. I missed it. My bad. And now the indicator takes all of that and puts it on the chart, compiles it instantly in instant data, puts it on the chart when it's time, and then you get the buy signal. So you don't have to look at all these things. That's the whole point. Okay, we're going to move our stops here to 315. And we are going to close another half of remaining at 380. Now we're going to move our stops up to 340. So we took money at VWAP. That's why we took money off the table there. It's a very high probability of a failure. So we want to take money off of the table here and then leave our runner. If they do get through VWAP, we have a quarter position that's still running, right? So we are trying to maximize the value of our trade, because if they fail here and reject, we took off at the highs, which is great. If they push out and run, we have a runner, which is also great. Make sense? Risk management is the key to trading, guys. So we're seeing the rejection off of VWAP, also off of this resistance right here. So you have 2 resistances to get through. It's going to be stronger. So we want to take money off the table here. So we took 380. Do we want them to crush it higher? That'd be amazing. Yeah, let's let that last runner go to $10. Who cares? But no matter what, we're going to have a really nice winner here. To counter that overstopped loser I had last time. That was my fault. The stop was too deep. By the way, this is why we enter. This bar right here is the specific reason we enter as soon as we see the buy signal, because all of the trade was completed in one bar if they fail here, right? If you waited till here to get in, you just got a horrible entry. So we got in all the way down here, rode it up. We've taken profit so far. We'll see if the bulls are able to squeeze it all. Getting back through this high was big. They should be able to hold this high. So 557 is going to become a key level here. If they come back down, hold that high and push through. Next major zone is going to be the pre-market low. But they've already back-tested the pre-market low, so coming back to it again would be bullish. All right. Stops. We're going to move those up to 380. No big deal, just another 40-cent jump. Guys, the indicator code on the screen only lasts till the end of the live stream and a little bit beyond, maybe an hour after. So if you are interested in this, I'm telling you, it crushes, guys. Yeah, we had a couple rocky trades to start, but these are the trades you want. And if they can fly up out of here, it makes your whole day. So trade with a trading plan, trade with discipline, stop out when you stop out. It's all good. Still struggling with VWAP here. So they spiked VWAP, came back below it. We'll see where they close this candle. If they can close above it, that's a really good sign for the bulls. And then sustain. So close this candle above it, and then one more sustainable candle, and that's usually a pretty good sign. You're starting to see the 21 curl up. You're starting to see VWAP curl up. So if the bulls can get any kind of momentum here. Okay, we just stopped out at 380 there. And that's okay. If it keeps going, it keeps going. You got to trade with a plan. And that's our plan. So let me do the average exit on that one. Oh, there's my calculator. Okay, so we went stop at 380. So our second half was 380. Our first half was 336 divided by 2. 358 average exit. If you were aggressive with your stops, you can stay in. And you're still in. They can absolutely run this out of here. Again, we have a swing long that we entered yesterday near the lows. So if they do break out to the upside and start to rally, which I kind of favor that outcome as overall price action, but we have our swing long catching that. So. All right, guys, I'm going to get ready to shut this down. I'll give you a chance to I'm going to give you guys a chance to ask any questions, get the indicator. Guys, once I shut this down, I'm going to give everybody access that got it already, go through, make sure my group's good, and then I'm going to come back and that coupon code will be gone. So make sure you get the indicator, 50% off. I'll never have it this discounted again. At least never lower than this. So it'll never be lower than 50% off the first month. So if you're interested and you liked what you saw today, by all means get it, because that's the best price you're going to see. I appreciate everybody being here. Hopefully you liked how the indicator worked. We had this one was a pretty good trade, and this one was an okay trade. Not a great day overall for the indicator, honestly. This is a bad day, and we made money. So if you like making money on bad days, then this is for you. Will you do this again sometime? Yeah, I will likely do it. I'll probably do it once a week through March, because I'm doing all kinds of March Madness promotions. But this one here, the indicator won't be 50% off next time. It might be 25% off. It might be not anything off. It might be whatever. So other offers. If you get the yearly indicator, you can get TradeWaves Academy 50% off. Once you get the yearly, I'll send you the code for that. And that's it. Those are the offers for right now. Oh, and the TradeWaves Academy offer is incredible. For that price, the $497, you get a month of the indicator, which is $59 value. You get the Elliott Wave for Beginners course, which is $67. You get the Advanced Elliott Wave course, which is $77. So you're getting like $300 of value for that $400 price, $500 price. So check that out as well. Looks like we're going to try to push here again. Next key levels will be 559.22, and then the high at 562.11, and if they break through that, 563.75, and then it's squeeze on after that. Will this session be recorded and remain on YouTube? Yes. What moving averages do you have on the chart? The blue one is the EMA 21. So it's an EMA, not an SMA, and it's 21 day, or 21 on the 5 minute candle. And the black is VWAP. You're welcome, Daniel. Thank you. All right, guys. I really appreciate everybody being here. Stay tuned. Next week, I will do this again, and we'll go through. We do have CPI tomorrow, so that'll be an interesting data point. And we'll go see if the bulls can find any kind of fight into this ridiculous selling. Remember, the bulls overall are still in control in the very big picture. However, in the very short term, the bears are 100% in control until we get back through 58.80. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here, and we'll wrap